Good evening. I'd like to call together to order the April 23rd, 2026 meeting of the Culver Town Council. I'd like to remind everyone that their participation in the council chambers and online is your consent to be recorded and rebroadcast on the town's YouTube channel. Roll call, please.
William Clevenger,
Present.
Joe Day,
Present.
Dana Neer,
Present.
and Sally Ricciardi.
Present.
And Jenny Monroe is absent.
Is Jenny online or?
She is not.
She's not online. Okay. Will everyone please join me for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is the approval of the April 9th minutes for the April 9th meeting. Counselors, any additions or corrections? Okay,
Motion to approve the April 9th
Mr.
meeting minutes.
Okay, Mr. Shardy moves to approve the minutes of the April 9th meeting. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Muir. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Next on the agenda is public concerns, utility ordinance violation and appeals. Anyone in the room for any of those items? Do we have anyone online?
No.
New business. We have an Arbor Day Proclamation. Somewhere the Arbor Day Proclamation is here. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas the holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas trees can reduce erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, lower our heating and cooling costs, moderate temperature, clean the air and produce oxygen, provide habitat for wildlife. Whereas trees are renewable resources in giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas the trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic mentality of business areas and beautify our community, and whereas trees, wherever they're planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Now, therefore, I, William Clevenger, President of the Council of the Town of Culver, Indiana, do hereby proclaim Friday, April 24th, 2026 as Arbor Day. In the town of Culver, I urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and support efforts to protect our trees and woodland. Further, I would urge all citizens to plant and care for trees to gladden the heart and promotion the well-being of future generations. Dated this 23rd day of April 2026, and I will hereby sign the proclamation. Next on the agenda is the wastewater treatment plant.
Yes, sir, Council. We've met. We've had our second round of interviews. We also engaged in discussion and scoring during a recent executive session. As a recommendation from the council during that scoring session, you put it upon me to ask council if there is a motion for a design engineer to enter into contract negotiations with. And I'm going to phrase it that way in order to keep it open-ended and allow the council to tell me to recommend.
You're asking for a motion to,
I am, based upon the scoring session that we had and what we arrived at.
councilors, do I hear a motion?
The recommendation that we discussed earlier is approved by the scoring committee. That process that you enacted was thoughtful, and that you all came to consensus with the company, the name again of the company.
Council would like me to go ahead and share the details from that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Please.
very good. During that meeting, you're welcome. During the meeting, the recommendation followed that CHA was the company that was recommended from the scoring committee, and I'll put that on the table.
Your motion is for CHA?
Be my motion to approve CHA as our wastewater company that we will approve.
Okay.
If I may phrase it, to enter into negotiations, because we still need to determine the price and have that approved by council.
Mr. Muir moves in favor of CHA. Do I have a second?
I will second the CHA and moving into negotiations with them.
Mr. Day moves in favor of CHA and going into negotiations. Any further discussion, councilors?
Well, the only thing I could discuss is that I thought all three companies were good companies. It's a hard decision for the scoring committee.
I would echo what Sally said.
All those in favor of CHA, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed?
Yep.
Mr. Shardy opposes.
Thank you, council.
Next on the agenda is the water meter.
A while back, we put out an RFP for the water meter installation. We received one, and it's a large one. Never had an envelope,
Probably a small piece of paper.
Yeah, it's probably a letter size.
but wait, there's more. It's like it's a nestle doll. All right, give me a second. I apologize for the delay. The received bid is from HydroCore. And it appears the contact is by Dustin Sneed. Address included, certificate of liability included. Form 96 is also included. So they responded to the bid correctly. I can search through this. They're nice. They'll put the price up the front here. Of course, some details. It's always blatant. Where's Waldo, isn't it? And there we have it. Price proposal, correct mobilization fee, it's all in there. Project total in total is $128,040 is what I'm seeing. I just want to confirm that's there's no additional. No, I'd ask that So just again, one last time, project total price given in the response to the proposal is $128,000, excuse me, $40.00. With some contingencies fees, but they're by hour, so they're nothing in total. I'd ask the council if we can take this under advisement and wait till the next meeting to possibly get a response and an approval.
Right, we'll take that under advisement. Next is the resolution for Ready 2.0 Lilly grant application. Anyone here to address the grant application?
Kevin was gonna do that.
Absolutely, as I'm transitioning. Thanks, Marty.
I could, but I'll let Kevin do
Yeah, tonight I put forth before the council resolution 2026-001 based upon a recommendation, or I would even call it a directive by the Redevelopment Commission. The resolution that is in front of you is a resolution from the town council to support the commitment of funds for the Culver Arts and Culture Corridor project by the Redevelopment Commission. The Redevelopment Commission has voted. If you'll take a look through the series of whereases, I would say the third is the most important. A proposed project that aims to create an integrated arts and cultural hub by redesigning the existing park and performance areas, festivals, replacing the obsolete theater, working with Maxinkuckee Performing Arts Theater Foundation, who the council have been in conversation with, transforming the intervening street into a safe, walkable, well-lit corridor, improved parking, public art, and upgraded. This is for a design project in order for a 2 to 3 year time frame to move into construction. And again, it's to show support for the redevelopment. The Redevelopment Commission in their 2026 spending plan has already earmarked and identified this as in their spending budget as somewhere where they want to commit funds to. And we're seeking a way of offsetting expenses with the Ready grant and maximizing the use of this money and be prepared for construction in 2 to 3 years. So tonight I ask the council for a motion to approve the resolution to support the Redevelopment Commission and Marty Osterbon any future endeavors that he has to conduct in order to secure those funds for matching.
Councilors?
I will make a motion to that effect. I'm not going to try to repeat it.
Thank you.
That's for planning grant, correct?
That is correct.
Say it this way, that Mr. Sharkey moves to support resolution 2026-001. Is there a second?
A second.
Second by Mr. Neer. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Resolution 2026-001, a resolution of the town of Culver Town Council supporting a commitment of funds for the Culver Arts and Culture Corridor project. And I won't go through all the whereas and so forth, but it's been passed by the council.
There'll be a copy in the book, Mr. President, for signature.
We need to authorize him to sign it.
Actually, in the resolution that I've drafted, it's got all the council members,
Okay.
if that's acceptable.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's fine.
very good.
Okay. Board and commission reports, technical review and plan commission.
Okay, show. Tonight, BZA did not have any cases. We did meet and we did discuss several interpretations of ordinances that are currently existing, specifically going back to the height ordinance. And I did also bring BZA attention to some of the issues we're having concerning fill within the town, and to start thinking about some ideas about how we treat fill and erosion. There are erosion, obviously, ordinances in, but it right now difficulty on how much fill and how we monitor it. The only thing that ordinance wise we have in terms of how high we can fill a lot is based upon the total height of the structure. We are starting to see the alteration of landscape that can create possible drainage issues. And I'm wondering if we don't need to be proactive and start looking at it. I've also put a word in with Ty Atley up in Plymouth to discuss that further. While I'm doing the BZA, I'll do Plan Commission. We had one subdivision plat. It was to take a single plat that had been combined in 2017, I believe, and restore it back to two plats. That was approved by the Plan Commission. And it's on the South Shore. It's the Ursay property, or the former Ursay property, I should say. Apart from that, we had a discussion. We drafted a possible resolution to amend the ordinance for C1 to allow golf cart maintenance and repair, not sales or rentals, because that requires outdoor storage, more of a C2 scenario, but a C1 scenario that allows for inside repairs and confined to an inside structure. And they're taking that under advisement, as well as a ADU, possible ADU ordinance to allow for ADUs. Steve Gorski worked on it prior. There's an appetite in the state. Currently, they're starting to move things towards density. The state is starting to push back against setbacks that are more than 5 foot, to be honest with you. And they are pushing for ADUs to a point where they're starting to suggest that ADUs not be a matter of approval by a BZA or a plan commission, that it would be granted. I think that's interesting. Just trying to be forward thinking and see how we can possibly put an ordinance in place to govern that. The last topic at hand was how we treat corner lots in Culver. I asked Plan Commission to think about that. Currently, there's 2 front yards for somebody that owns a corner lot, 25 and 25. That's created a lot of work for the BZA in terms of variances and setbacks in the past. And I asked Plan Commission to make a consideration if that's something they do want to look into it and see how some of the issues that are involved and why they had that rule in place in the first place. There might be a recommendation for amendment on that coming forward before the council. Nothing at the moment, but those are 3 things that they're taking a look at. Might be on your radar here in a month or 2. And that's it for me on that.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Redevelopment Commission.
Hi, I'm Marty Osterbrand from the Redevelopment Commission. Just a few highlights from the meeting. We had a discussion around the arts and culture Readi 2.0 grant. So you covered that already tonight. We had a good discussion around the retail strategies, Main Street planning process, and the get together that took place earlier this month on April 1st, I believe it was. And then we also had a facade grant that was approved, a new business coming into Main Street. Sally would have more detail than I would on that, but it was a new resident coming to town and starting a business. I remember that, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So, and that's at least 2 this year, I think, for side grants, maybe even our 3rd already. So the program remains viable and attractive. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you very much. Tree Commission.
They may be wore out from yesterday. I would like to add on behalf of the Tree Commission. Yesterday, after 2 years of their diligent work, I really have to give it up for the Tree Commission, especially Denny and John Helfrey. They've been warriors out there, relocating, choosing species, working with me on this. Their knowledge base is greatly appreciated. But yesterday it culminated. We were able to meet at community school. There were 60 3rd graders and probably over 25 high school students. And there was a rotating crop. So in total, there probably were involved about 45 high school students that met with us, helped us plant 25 trees at Kevlar Park and at the school. Tomorrow, they'll plant an additional 14 trees with a delivery, I think, estimate of another 72 trees on Friday. And Davies will start doing the planting solely on Monday, I believe next week is the logistics. It's a great thing. WSBT came down, interviewed our world famous council president, put him on air, and the kids had a great time. I got them donuts in the morning and they all got t-shirts and They didn't care if it was 2XL. They walked back and stepping on their shirt and smiling the whole way. And I got to tell you, I bless my mom. She was an elementary school teacher. Third graders are awesome, but wow, those teachers deserve a round of applause. But the school was great, and it was just a heck of a time. It was a good time. It's good to see the community come together. So
Thank you.
you're welcome, sir.
Your report, Mr. Dante.
I got to get off the stage, sir. Very good. Let's keep it brief if I can. This week, or 2 weeks, week and a half ago now, sorry, we had an emergency expenditure with EJP, excuse me. We had a valve issue at Lakeview and Lakeshore Drive. You'll see the patchwork. Luckily, they caught it early. It was a leaking valve. Couldn't get it packed. They had to do some extensive valve work. I think they installed 2 valves. I haven't touched base with Bob yet to find out what the final. That expenditure, which I contacted council through email for that emergency, so you had the heads up, but it was $14,120. I'd asked tonight that the council confirm that expenditure, I asked for that expenditure with a motion of confirmation that I did communicate and that it was acceptable to the council.
Make a motion to accept that expenditure, 14,000. EJP.
Mr. Shardy moves to approve the expenditure of 14,000.
$120, excuse me. Sorry.
$120. Have a second? Second by Mr. Day. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Sign. Thank you.
Yesterday, Wayne contacted me. He was contacted. There is an event coming through our way. It's called the Michiana Trail Riders Coalition Buggy Bash. They take ATVs and it's on Saturday, May 30th, 2026. They go through 3 counties. So they're going to go through Marshall, Elkhart, and I believe St. Joe County. They're going to go through Swan Lake. They want to ask permission to come down our way. There's 50 to 70 riders. I've been told that they're not going to all come to town in one large group. They'll come in different size groups, but they want to come down here, take advantage of businesses, lunch at the different established restaurants. These are side-by-side ATVs. They were kind enough to read our ordinances and contact Wayne. They understood that we require a town permit. However, that permit is not an expense to an individual. They don't pay a fee for that. We give them that permit once they've demonstrated that they've registered with the state. So what they're asking for technically is an exemption from having that permit for 1 day as they come down here on May 30th. I couldn't get hours. Right now, the registration's from 8 to 9:30 p.m. and the wheels up at 10 a.m. sharp. I have no idea yet what time they'll be coming. I did leave a message today. I wasn't able to determine how we'll denote. I would like to be able to denote that they're part of this group. If council did allow for something like this, I have at least spoken with Wayne. I would like to get with Chad on this, and speaking with Wayne. He couldn't foresee anything, but I'd like to speak with Chad as well to find out his feelings on that. But what we would be asking for tonight from the council is permission, not necessarily to allow this to happen, but to allow a 1-day exemption contingent upon those logistics and checking with Chad.
You know how many they're expecting?
50 to 70, Sally, is what they've said in their flyer.
I was looking at the academy schedule. I think the 29th is the town's graduation. I think that's the beginning of their graduation.
In that,
It's going to cause a major traffic.
the way that they phrased it in here, Sally, and that's all I can go by, the 50, possibly 75 machines, which would not get there at the same time. Now, the key word is get here at the same time. I don't know how long they're staying, Sally. They got 125 miles to ride that day, so they're going to be moving, but that's what I know right now. We do have one meeting in between now and then that we could approve this. If council would like, I could maybe bring some more details to bear, if that would be useful.
And, they may not be aware that that's grad week at the academy.
It could very
and
well
at the
be.
town. And it's rare that the town and the academy both graduate the same weekend.
Right. Yeah, usually,
Yeah,
Culver's at
usually they
weekend.
split it because
yeah.
you can't find a place to stay or a place to eat. I'd hate to see them drive 125 miles.
Sally, that's actually something I had thought about, so thank you, yeah.
Any food.
Let me look into that, see what the expectations are,
Yeah.
and then do some research on that logistically, what that's gonna look like for the town, but I appreciate that. And given the fact, I think we still have one meeting, at least one meeting before this event, it would be prudent to probably go through that. Looking good, moving through here. Water plant update, the surface pumps were installed last week. I believe the beginning of next week, we'll see our new aerator coming in, so we'll be coming to a close on that here shortly. There has been some concern expressed near the water plant. Share that with you with that wetland in the back on Ohio Street. We're monitoring that right now, and I think that we've asked the DNR and IDEM to take a look. The dunes is currently leveling out. If you haven't noticed on the north, they're doing a lot of landscaping. I think some of that lack of landscaping has caused not necessarily issues, but increased water, especially with the rains we've had. So they're being mindful, but I'm confident that they're working with IDEM and the DNR, but we're going to monitor that. And I had one homeowner give me a call this week, and I told them I contacted, and so Marshall County is aware of it too. So I've notified people to maintain and give me the information we need. Beach Lodge, Crystal has reached out to me. The sidewalk near the Beach Lodge, if you come to the west side of that Beach Lodge, there's an outlet. There's a big ravine going out into the beach. There's some undercutting going on that sidewalk, and Crystal was very, I said Christine maybe, but Crystal was very concerned about that. Bob and I looked at it, and I'm going to walk it next week with Crystal as well. And it is in need of repair, and I just wanted to bring that to your attention. There's also some waterproofing issues with the Beach Lodge that Crystal's been looking into, as well as windows. So she's doing some basic repair and maintenance work, and I just want to bring that to your attention because there may be a case here in the next month that I'll be approaching council with some expenses to do those repairs. Happy to say that we've submitted the Readi 2.0 grant. I'm looking forward to hearing back. I appreciated everybody's hands that were on that and the guidance that I received. I think it's a worthwhile endeavor, and I'm excited to hear back. Getting through everything. I want to thank Crystal and for her work on April 19th for the park cleanup. That was a wonderful event, and she really committed to it. Done some great things. Over 30 people participated. Special thanks to Tom Uhas and Susie Mahler for the work on the trail. They really committed. They spent the whole day out there. Also, JD Castleman, John Birchner, and Henry Doral were on the beach doing some yeoman's work. They put in a little extra time beyond expectations. So we really do appreciate their work. Reminders. I do want to thank Robin Broker from the school, their FFA horticulture program. She really has come up big with this tree and coordinating storage, making sure that there's water available. She brought out a whole host of kids, great workers, and really want to send a special thank you to her. Last reminder possibly, and I hope I'm not skipping anything, council, but the last reminder is the utility department, homeowners, that if they contract work for tree trimming or cleanup, the contractor is responsible for picking that and removing the brush and wood from that. Jerry and Josh and those guys have been putting in some extra hours picking up a lot of brush, and that, some of it's being left behind by contractors. I met with them Tuesday. I think I went out to the garage and talked to them during lunch, and that's starting to being an issue. So we're going to put a reminder out there on the town media sources to get to people, and it's grass season, so it's time for a nuisance maybe. But so far I'm impressed. Golf cart rides, I've been seeing people doing their mowing. So if I've forgotten something, I apologize, but I think you heard enough from me tonight. So thank you.
Do we have any special permits?
We do, Mr. Neer, and it's not sitting in front of me because it's signed and ready to go, but Mr. Neer, would you like to discuss how wonderful the 15th triathlon over at Culver Academy is going to be?
It's so wonderful. I'm gonna give you a few registration for it.
You will set an all-time record for the longest wait for a guy to cross the line.
15th annual.
Yep.
Which you may know is the whole focus of our town. We want people to come and enjoy a great event. We also want our businesses to thrive by people going and having meals at restaurants during the weekend and stays in our accommodations in town. And also then to just showcase our beautiful natural resources. So we think we accomplish all those. And then all the funding from the triathlon goes back to 4 organizations: Lions Club Kiwanis, the Culver Youth Club, and the Culver Club of Culver. And so the volunteers are amazing, over 100 volunteers, and we'll see about 500 people back here in Culver for the triathlon. So just seeking approval for that again this year.
August 20th?
August
9th,
8th or 9th.
Okay, I'm sorry, I left the
Yes.
permit sitting on my
I
desk
think it's 8th.
because none of the details have changed.
Okay. No,
Yeah. And the department heads are aware of it, so. So if I can get a motion to approve that.
I'll make a motion to approve the triathlon as long as I don't have to participate.
Sally, I'll walk with you.
I've
Sally,
participated,
we'll get you there one year.
I've participated as EMT, but I'm not running,
Back house.
swimming, biking these days.
Mr. Charity moves to approve the triathlon. Is there a second?
Full second.
Second by Mr. Day. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those same sign.
And thank you for that reminder, Mr. President, because I left it sitting on my desk.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Ms. Heim, you've had a lot of work this week.
Yeah, it's been a little busy, but not any busier than usual. So I've got a couple of claims over 2,500. The first one is for the Treasurer of State for $3,891.36. And that is for the sewer audit. We also got a bill for the water audit, which was under $2,500. And then I have a big bill for the town audit, which is like 10,000 some, and I forgot to bring it in, but that'll be taken out of property taxes, and it's not something that I need to cut a check for. The second one is cargo, $4,628.66 for salt. Next, EJ Prescott, $15,422.10 for the water plant project. Marshall County Economic Development Corporation, $2,500, which is our first installment for the MCDC contract. And finally, $50,000 for core and main, and those are for meters.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Mr. Charity moves to approve claims over $2,500.
Second.
Second by those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. The same sign.
And I will share that bill for the town audit probably next time. The second thing I have, budget planning. It's coming up faster than any of us will expect. I did provide a calendar for your review. I just want to make sure that that calendar meets your expectations or meets with your approval, and any other information or any changes that you might want to make to the budget process. If you want to share those now, or let me know in an email so I can adjust. I just don't want to get to the end of the process and find out that you wish that we would have done something different. So I want to anticipate now, because I'd also like to take maybe a week or off vacation wise too, and figure out when to plan that based on these meetings. So is there any?
And this is almost identical to last year's process.
It pretty much is, yeah. I added a few extra notes in there, just explaining kind of why the dates are the way they are. Because we do have, kind of an end date that we have to have that budget passed by November 1st or 2nd. And so you start working back from that to make sure that you have the final hearing. You have to have a public hearing. You have to have 10 days in advance of that to get that notice out for the budgets. So it's kind of a working back. This year, we also have the added adventure. Hopefully you've all registered for or seen information on the must committees. And that's going to be discussions on lit rates will also be taking place over the summer as well. So as we keep trying to dodge and weed what the legislature continues to throw at us. So
I like to throw it at you.
Yeah,
I really feel like I'm bobbing and weaving.
I think this is great, Karen.
Sally, do you have any?
Yeah, it doesn't look like it conflicts at this point.
Okay.
That can always change. As it does for all of us.
Bill, do you have anything?
No, I think this is great. This is great.
Bill? I know
I don't
we're
know
throwing,
enough
you're
yet,
you're
so
drinking from
I'm
the
just
fire hose.
gonna-
Yeah. No,
Looks
I'm-
great.
All right.
Sure.
Okay.
Lean back.
Well, I just. But if you would, any suggestions, information, changes in process, please let me know ahead of time, just so I can get in and make sure that you're well informed. The sidewalk program, I received 3 applications on April 1st, and the total of the grant would be over the 3 would be $10,773 for reimbursement. It would be replacing 300 square feet of sidewalk, 90 feet of curb, and 197 curb and sidewalk. And this is 3 applications combined, just giving you an idea of everything. But if I could have a motion to approve those grant applications.
Make a motion to approve those 3 applications for the sidewalk program.
Mr. Neer moves to approve the 3 applications for the sidewalk project. Chair will second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Put same sign.
Then just wanted to let you know, Kevin and I have been working with What's Up 24/7. It's an online application essentially that is basically allows for web presence for businesses and organizations, as well as promoting events. And it's a regional type of thing where they're actually working to get it all throughout the state of Indiana. The Secretary of State is sponsoring memberships to this group right now. Without the membership, I think it's $50 if you just want to be listed, kind of like a white pages type of situation. I think it's around 300 maybe. I might be a little off because I'm going from memory and I apologize. But to be able to publish events. And the idea is basically that, you know, you can live in Culver but where everything that goes on in Culver might not be your whole world. You might want to get out of town. So you can say, well, I want to know what's going on within a 30-mile radius of Culver, and it'll pop up, it'll populate different events. You could also be in Plymouth and do the same thing. So they're basically trying to get these interweavings of webs to make available that living in small town Indiana, you know, you may think there's nothing to do, but there really is a lot to do. And he gives the person that's kind of founded it, gave the example of like, you can live in Fishers and it takes you 15 minutes to get to Lowe's. Here, you know, but the Lowe's is maybe 4 miles away. Here, Lowe's is 15 miles away, but it's going to take you about 15 minutes. You know, it's the same, you know, you're traveling maybe a longer distance, but in the same amount of time.
Think miles, not, think of minutes, not
Not
miles.
miles. Yes, thank you.
Right.
But they are coming to Culver on May 5th. Yes, at the Culver Library. They're going to have 2 different meetings, one at 10 a.m. I believe, and one at 6. And then in the afternoon, they'll have a sign up. They're sending invitations out to basically 4 or 5 county radius around Culver. So South or St. Joe, Elkhart, Marshall County, Fulton, Pulaski. Just they sent me a huge long list of people that they're inviting. So hopefully we can get a lot of people into town, get them signed up, get local people signed up too. I think it'd be wonderful for churches, for Lake Fest, for your triathlon to get it up there. Any other sporting events, the academies, the schools can put up their, you know, each of their sporting events, find out what, you know, basketball games going on, that sort of thing. So I think it would be really beneficial and definitely something to help people find what's going on in small town, rural Indiana. The I'm just gonna say the acronym because I don't remember what it stands for, but SLFRF, which is the report that I have to submit to share how we've spent the ARPA money. And that was that COVID relief money that we received a couple of years ago. It was around 300,000 some. But we were able to finally spend the last of it in 2025 on we expired the funds using it towards well C, and that those remaining funds were 71,323.50. And I'd just like a motion to approve reporting that submission or that amount as the final expenditure of the ARPA funds so that I can get this report done by April 30th. And it's one more report after this and it's 0. So I'm looking forward to marking one more report off my list.
Make a motion to allow you
To approve submitting the report.
submitting that information and hopefully close out the funds soon.
So Charlie moves that allow Ms. Line to send out the information regarding the ARP funds,
ARPA.
ARPA funds. Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Day seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
I'm almost done, I promise. I sent out the March financial reports and I'll put information on the website, but I would like a motion to approve those financial reports as presented.
Make a motion that we approve those financial reports.
Second that.
Mr. Dare moves. Mr. Ferry seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Same sign.
Okay, and the last thing, I think this is probably my longest report in a long time, and I apologize. But just a reminder that garage sales, townwide garage sales are this weekend. I've sent information out on Town Down Lake. There's information on Facebook, on the website, and there's maps available at the gas stations. And then townwide cleanup is Monday, May 11th. It's a Monday that you can put stuff out to your curb that if it survives the weekend from the pickers of Culver, the guys will pick up and dispose of it. So just make sure you set it apart from your trash can so that we don't scare off for public services when they come into town. And that's all I have.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Line. Council issues, Mr. Neer,
Have none tonight.
Mr. Sherry,
Good.
Mr. Day.
I do not have any.
Chair has none. I'm making a motion, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
It's been moved by Mr. Shardy. Second by Mr. Day. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, we are adjourned.